Hello everyone! Yeah, we're doing something a little different today. I wanted to do a video talking about the Oscar nominations. I thought I could do a reaction video to watch along the stream that Zazie Beetz and Jack Quaid were doing. I was like, I could, but I'd rather take more time to discuss it in depth and maybe go over a couple of things that I think are interesting as opposed to just reacting on the spot. So we're going to do a discussion video. I've wanted to talk more about the award season. I'm kind of really not for the first time in my life. I've always been really into the award season, but for the first time on this channel, I really want to dive more into the awards narrative. And I've started following all the National Film Review stuff and all that. I've been following award season for a while, and I figured we could do a video talking about that. I could set something up. We're going to be going over the Oscars this year, the 96th Annual Academy Awards, the 2023 movies for the 2024 award season, and we're just going to talk about what I think's interesting, stuff like that. We're going to do a screen, it's going to come up on the screen. You'll see what that is at this moment in time. I'll do a screen record and you'll see everything I'm looking at. So I'm going to be looking at the computer. We're going to go over it. You'll see everything on the screen. This is from the Academy website, so oscars.org. You'll see their whole list there. And we'll start with their starting point too. So, actor in a leading role. This one is exactly what I predicted it was going to be. I've been saying this in my real life for a while. Bradley Cooper, Coleman Domingo, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, Jeffrey Wright. That's obvious. I feel like that is one that anybody could have predicted, that a lot of us did see coming. I mean, on my personal list, that I'm going to have a big awards show coming up very soon. One of these names is on my list. And it's crazy that I've been kind of talking a little bit of smack about Bradley Cooper and Maestro. And Maestro, not a film I love. I like it a lot. The more I've been thinking about Maestro, the more I like it. His performance is still not one I love, but I'm glad it's in there. And, I think the real contention of who's going to win is going to be Giamatti or Murphy. And I could see going either way, but I think this is going to be the Oppenheimer year to sweep. Jeffrey Wright, you have to put one in there. And Coleman Domingo, I like that nomination. I have nothing against that nomination. I don't like that movie, but that nomination I'm fine with. And then when you get to actor in a supporting role, we have Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Mark Ruffalo. You could have probably predicted a lot of this. RDJ is going to sweep this. I don't even think it's a huge debate. Sterling K. Brown is very interesting. I have yet to see American Fiction. It's one of the best picture nominations I haven't seen yet. But that, I've heard people be like, that's kind of an interesting one. So I do like that. I personally, I don't put De Niro or Ryan Gosling on my list. Now, we'll talk about Barbie more throughout this entire piece. My problem with Barbie is how they handled the nominations. And we'll get to that. But Gosling getting this nomination to me feels a lot like Kevin Kline getting it for A Fish Called Wanda, where you're like, that's a very specific tone you're going for. It's cool that I'm seeing it nominated. But to nominate the male character in this movie dedicated and surrounded by women, about women, for women, that sucks. And that's a problem thing to see. Ruffalo, I like Ruffalo the most on this list personally. It's RDJ. I'd give it to RDJ in a heartbeat. We'll talk about it more when I do my list. Devastated not to see Charles Melton on here. Devastated not to see Ben Whishaw on here for Passages. But, I mean, this is an old man, stack of characters. I don't love it, but I'm not against it either. And when it comes to actress in a leading role, this one is also very interesting because I think you could have predicted a lot of this. I do like seeing Lily Gladstone, Sandra Hüller, Carey Mulligan, Emma Stone. I love those nominations. I mean, I would give it to any of those four in a heartbeat, really. I think it's Lily and Stone that we're going to see competing against each other. But Carey Mulligan is so good in Maestro, and Sandra Hüller is just, I love seeing that nomination. But the one that stands out, and we'll talk about this when we get to the supporting actress, It's Annette Bening and Dyad. Like, I know there's loyalists to that movie and people do like it, but that's the slot. That is the slot where Margot Robbie should be. The fact that Margot Robbie's not in that, it's devastating. It actually is. It's kind of weird that she didn't get that nomination. And I know the Academy has like weird rules and they're a bunch of old assholes half the time. But God, Annette Bening, really? Did we have to do Annette Bening? So if I had to rank this category, which I think would have been perfect if Bening was replaced with Robbie, I would probably go Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, Carey Mulligan, Sandra Hüller, and Annette Bening's at the bottom. But that's pretty, like, we're so close to perfect there. It's predictable a little, but I'm not against it. An actress in a supporting role, like, we're all over the place here. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. Not my favorite performance in Oppenheimer. I know why it's on the list. Same with Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple. If that's all The Color Purple gets, I understand. America Ferrera and Barbie. I have to talk about this one for a little bit. I know a lot of people are going to talk about this one. I want to say this. Here's what I'm thinking is why America Ferrera is on this list. Do you remember during the Directors on Directors variety shoot where it was Greta Gerwig and James Cameron? And James Cameron said, like, you managed to put into, like, one speech, like, the contextualization of what women have felt throughout the history, not only of this industry, but of all time, just like being a woman in society. And you made it palpable for men to understand. I think that speech that America Ferrera gives in the Barbie movie is the reason she's on this list. Because you have a bunch of old men being like, that is the bare minimum we can do to say we understand women, is nominating that specific performance. I don't hate that. I don't love that she's on here. I think Rachel McAdams should slide into a couple of these spots. But I can't say I'm angry America Ferrera's on there. I'm just like, really? This is the Jamie Lee Curtis of this year, where you're like, really? Is this the one? And that's where I'm like, oh my God, is she going to steal it from these people? I don't think she is. Like, Jodie Foster for Nyad, sure, who gives a shit, really? And Divine Joy Randolph, she's going to win. She's been winning all the critics' awards. She's won almost everything so far. It's hers to lose. And then we go to animated feature film, which I think's a pretty good category. The Boy and the Heron, one of the best pictures of the year. Elemental, glad to see that showed up and not Wish. That's really cool. Nimona is a surprising one to throw in there. I really like it. And Robot Dreams, I'm waiting for that to release here. I keep seeing pictures of it. I'm like, that looks so freaking good. I really hope I get to see that soon. And then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm a little more bummed we didn't get to see Ninja Turtles on here. I'm not surprised though. Like, that's a good list. Those are 5 good movies. I can't wait for Robot Dreams. That looks so fun. I hope it's The Boy and the Heron. I feel like there's going to be like a bitch fit if it's not Spider-Verse, but they gave it to the first Spider-Verse, and this might be the last time Miyazaki gets this nomination. So that's kind of cool. Cinematography, here we go. This is also an interesting one to me. El Conde is a really weird movie. I don't love it, and I'm surprised that it's on here. Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Great idea. Those are all beautifully shot. They are so interesting to look at, all distinctive visual styles. El Conde is such a weird one. And the Academy's got like a weird thing about cinematography where they think they know what they're doing, but they don't really know what they're doing half the time. It's got to go to Oppenheimer, right? Oppenheimer, Maestro, like, I think that's great. And when it comes to costume design, Barbie, great pull. I love that. Killers, great idea. Napoleon, I guess you could give it to Napoleon. Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things, they seem like the ones that are going to sweep a lot of these technical ones. When it comes to costume, though, I don't know who I'd give it to. I want to say I would give it to Barbie, just because I think it's like a Technicolor marvel. I'm leaning towards that right now. I'm leaning towards Barbie for this category. I think all of this technical stuff, we're going to see Oppenheimer sweep, though. That's where I'm at. And directing. Okay, this is another one I do want to talk about because I think it's very interesting. A lot of people, myself kind of included, I would have loved to see Greta Gerwig on this list. Now, I look at this list and I can't be mad at any of these nominations. Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. I love the way that movie is directed. I don't think she's going to win this. Honestly, the one I would take off is Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. If you could slide Gerwig in there, I'd be okay. If you could slide Celine Song in there, I'd be okay. But no, I'm fine with him being in there. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, he's going to win. I think this is the year we give Nolan all of his due, and he's going to just collect everything. Yorgos for Poor Things, I like that. Jonathan Glazer for the Zone of Interest. I'm kind of surprised, you know? I mean, that one could have easily just went too long with the more technical stuff, but Glazer kind of getting like his due here. That's kind of exciting. I haven't seen this one either. So the Best Picture nominees I haven't seen are American Fiction and The Zone of Interest. They're not playing in my area. I think I could get to a screening of American Fiction the next couple of days, maybe. But I would love Justine to take this award. That's the one I'd be like, please, give it to her. I understand why it's not going to be, though. And look, I cannot be mad if Nolan wins that. I'm not a dickhead, you know? Documentary feature film, actually. Bobby Wine, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, 4 Daughters, To Kill a Tiger, 28 Days in Madripoor. Is that Madripoor? Maripol? Something like that. Okay, so I think a lot of us were also predicting that we're going to see still a Michael J. Fox story on here, which I love. You guys know my favorite documentary of the year is Hot Potato, the story of the Wiggles. I don't hate any of these nominations. And what I like about this is it's kind of more, it's less Hollywood, you know, incestuous, where it's more like independent stories that are very interesting. 4 Daughters has to take it. It's the only one on this list I have seen. It's good. And it's really cool. And if you have a chance to see it, I do recommend checking it out. I think that's what's going to win. Like, I don't have much to say on the rest of these. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And when it comes to documentary short film, the ABCs of book banning The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, 99 Weipo. I wish I could sit here and tell you I know what these are. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a screening for these yet in my area. If there is one, perhaps I will come back and talk about it if I get a chance to see it. I don't really know where I'd go with like who I think's going to win this one. Probably the ABCs of book banning, right? That's kind of relevant. I'd say that's where we're going. But film editing, that's one I do know how to talk about, because the nominees are Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. The Holdovers is interesting in here. Like, that's the one you could easily slot Barbie into, but again, we still got some people talking about this stuff that don't want to see Barbie win. I'd put Barbie in there, but for editing, that's great. It has to be Oppenheimer. I know Schoonmaker could pull it off because Killers and Oppenheimer are both really beautifully edited. But some of the stuff they're doing in Oppenheimer, like, my God, it's crazy what they do. So I hope it's Oppenheimer. That is still where I go. I think with Poor Things this year, we're going to see it's going to get a lot of nominations. It's not going to win much of anything. It could just be Stone winning that award. But also, it's won a couple of the comedy, like, Best Picture stuff, so maybe it could. But it can't beat Oppenheimer. Well, we'll get to it. International feature film. I like this category. Io Capitano. I haven't seen it yet. Perfect Days. There should be a screening coming up in my area. I'm super excited for that one. Society of the Snow. Really interesting movie. Really moved me in ways I wasn't expecting. Same with The Teacher's Lounge. Out of this list, The Teacher's Lounge being the one I've seen. Oh, I've seen 2 of them. I've seen Society and I've seen Teacher's Lounge. Teacher's Lounge is really good. We should pay teachers more. They put up with a lot of shit. Very interesting movie. If you have a chance to see The Teacher's Lounge, I don't think it's going to be what you're expecting. It's very much about like a school system dealing with stuff. And it would... See, I think all these movies have their fans and have their supporters. This could be where they give it to The Zone of Interest, though. I could see that being the case. But I just don't like the idea of like a UK story getting international feature, because it's like, come on. Look what we have nominated. Italy, Spain, Germany, United Kingdom. Yeah, those are so international. And then Japan. Like, Perfect Days to be a cool win. I'm super pumped to see that. I hope it wins. Makeup and hairstyling. Fucking insane. This is an insane category. Golda. Who knows that came out? You could have put Barbie in that category. Maestro, abso-fucking-lutely, Maestro should be the one that wins this. The old age makeup for Lenny is incredible. Oppenheimer, I like it. Poor Things, I like it. Society of the Snow, I see why you're doing that. You do a lot of really interesting like makeup around people's eyes and their skin. I could definitely see how that slots in there. But I don't know. Barbie should be on this list. For hairstyling, and Barbie's not on the list? That's crazy. That is crazy to me. But Golda, we don't, excuse me, we don't make Helen Mirren look that old. This is the Helen Mirren one, right? That's so bizarre. I do not like that. Original score. Okay, we got to talk about original score. American Fiction, sure. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Are you fucking kidding me? Over some of the brilliant scores we have seen this year? John Williams does not need this nomination. He's doing the old stuff. It's the worst score they've nominated on this list. Are you telling me you couldn't give it to The Boy and the Heron or Spider-Verse over Dial of Destiny? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I like The Killers. I like the Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's probably going to win. I think this is Ludwig's to win. And Poor Things is cool. But really, you're going to put the Dial of Destiny in there for John Williams because you know him? It's that thing that you see a lot where like the same names do get nominations because it's the only one you can name from a category. Ridiculous. Original song is also ludicrous, and this is such a weird one. The Fire Inside from Flamin' Hot. Everyone knows Diane Warren. Ridiculous. I'm Just Ken. We have to talk about this again. The song from Barbie, and yes, What Was I Made For is also nominated. The song from Barbie that's about the guys gets the nomination. Really? That's what we're doing here? I don't like that. I don't think that fits well. Never Went Away from American Symphony. That's on Netflix, right? I think I'm going to check that one out. And then A Song for My People from Killers. That's a really cool nomination. I do like that one. A nomination like that makes me think we're going to give it to Lily. I do like that. But I do think this is Billy and Phineas's to lose again. I think every time Billy is going to touch this stuff, she's going to win, which is great. But also the Critics' Choice did give it to I'm Just Ken, which is fucking brutal. So it's like, what does that mean? All right, so Best Picture. Let's do Best Picture now. American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. It's a killer list. 10 hits. 10 hits have all made it into this. And I have yet to see Zone or Fiction, but I can tell you, people like them, and they deserve to be on this list. I love this so much. Just seeing Past Lives sneak in there is really exciting. Having Barbie actually get this nomination, that's really cool. Like, 2 of the highest grossing films of the year are in the Best Picture list. I guess that was the same as, no, not last year. When did Maverick come out? Was Maverick last year? When The Way of Water and Maverick, were they nominated in the same year? I can't remember. That's really cool. Look, it's Oppenheimer's to lose, but the joy I get seeing Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, and Past Lives on this list, 3 movies directed by women, it's pretty fucking cool. I like that a lot, you know? And if I had to take any off, I'd get rid of Holdovers maybe, and I'm not a Maestro fan, you know that. But I do think it is one of the best pictures that should be talked about. Like, from this list, it's impossible because these are all movies I talk about infinitely. I would have the conversation about Maestro any day. Like, if somebody wanted to talk to me about that, I could talk about Maestro. It's such an interesting film. I don't know. Production design, back to all of your regularly scheduled things. Barbie finally gets a nom, as it should. It probably has, oh my god, I'm going to say the best production. All these have really great production design. Killers, Napoleon, Poor Things, Oppenheimer. They're all great. I love all of those a lot. Production, this one I actually don't know who I'd give it to. I think I would give it to Barbie. but Poor Things has really good product. Like, I don't know. Animated short film, Letter to a Pig, 95 Senses, Our Uniform, Macadame, War is Over, inspired by the music of John and Yoko. It's probably going to be War is Over, right? You know, I do want to see all of these too, so I hope that comes very soon. Live action short film, we have The After, we have Invincible, we have Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue, and The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Wouldn't it be fucked up if this is where Wes Anderson wins his best, like his best award? Wouldn't this be fucked up if this is where he just wins his Oscar for The Wonderful World of or The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar? God, that'd be kind of brutal. Now, the Sarah McFarlane that worked on Red, White, and Blue, that's not the one married to Seth, is it? I'd have to look that up. It's gonna be Wes. Like, who else would you give it? I mean, I'm sure these are all great, but I think you got to give it to Wes, right? That's where I'd put it. Sound, very interesting category as well. The Creator, was not expecting that in the sound category. Maestro, great fucking call. Maestro is such a good one to put here. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Not expecting that for this category either. This is now the first Mission Impossible movie to be nominated for an Academy Award. It makes me think maybe we should have snuck Tom Cruise into last year too. That'd be crazy. Oppenheimer, it's got to be Oppenheimer for the win. The sound on that is crazy. The Zone of Interest, I'm sure that's going to sound great. I can't wait for that. Visual effects is also a category I love everyone that's nominated in this category. The Creator, perfect. Like, what they did with like that scale of camera is so creative and fun. I love all of that. Godzilla -1 becoming the first nominated Godzilla film. That's amazing. If you watch the clip of them like reacting to or just like saying everything that was released and is a part of like the noms, that got a big reaction. I think I actually think there is the chance Godzilla could take this win. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Absolutely. I would even put that one in production design. Like even hair and makeup. Like I think a lot of the production that goes into Guardians 3 is incredible. Mission Impossible, sure. I think it's just for like the one shot. That's the one I might take off. I might even say you could put Dead Reckoning in for cinematography. And Napoleon, yeah, there's some really impressive stuff in Napoleon. So we're kind of nearing the end here. We have the screenplay things to talk about. As a writer myself, this category is probably one of my favorites to look at every year. So we're going to start with the adapted screenplay. American Fiction from Cord Jefferson, Barbie from Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, Oppenheimer from Christopher Nolan, Poor Things from Tony McNamara, and The Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer. Here's what's interesting. All of those are great scripts. Still, I haven't seen everything for Zone. Here's where I'm leaning towards when it comes to this category. I think we're going to see Barbie and Oppenheimer cancel each other out, and Cord Jefferson's coming on top for American Fiction. He has been getting a lot of the nominations. He got the Critics' nom recently. I could see Cord sneaking in there for this nomination for adapted screenplay. Would not be surprised. Like, I think, because we're going to nominate, well, this could where we give it to Greta. This could be where we give it to Greta, though. Nolan will win other awards. He's going to win Best Director, so that's fine. Glazer's going to win International Feature, so he's fine there. I think it's Cord or Greta, but I'm going to go with Cord. My heart is telling me it's going to be Cord Jefferson taking that award. But when it comes to original screenplay, this is where I'm more divided. Because I really don't know where it could go, because I think all of these are great original screenplays. Anatomy of a Fall. Justine Triet and Arthur Harari. Fantastic. That might be my pick. I love that. The Holdovers, David Hemmingson. It's fine. That one I think is not going to get it. Maestro by Bradley Cooper and Josh Singer. Is this where we're going to give Bradley his win? Do you think he'd appreciate winning for the screenplay as opposed to the acting? He didn't get a director's nomination, so it's very interesting. May December, screenplay by Sammy Birch, story by Sammy Birch and Alex Mechanic, whatever you want to say. I love May December. One of my favorite movies of the year is May December. Obsessed with it. I would love to see it win. I'm still pissed off we didn't see Portman or Moore or Melton in any of the acting lists. I'm kind of confused why we didn't give it some more. Not sound. What's one that I could probably slide into? Cinematography, maybe? I don't know. I love that movie. But Justine's got to walk away with something from me, or this has all been moot. I don't know. Because Anatomy was not up for international feature. I guess because they're gonna, I don't know. But to end it all, we have Celine Song's Past Lives, which is a great fucking script, should be on this list, and I really hope it wins. I really hope it wins too. This category, I would honestly give it to any of them except The Holdovers. If I had to pick, it would probably go Anatomy, Past Lives, December, Maestro, Holdovers. But I think this one's less clear to me than everything else we have going on. It's Justine or Celine, in my opinion. If neither of them are going to get Best Picture because it's going to go to Oppenheimer, the Academy, they love to give an award to a woman for a technical thing. This could be where they do it. I do like this. I like this category a lot. I want to go back to Best Picture for a minute, just so we can talk a little bit more about it. Where is Best Picture on here? Right here. Do we like this list? Now, it's be up on the screen for you to see. Are you a fan of this list? Do you like what we're looking at here? Are you comfortable with it? I think it's a pretty, compared to last year, which I also think was a pretty good list. There's a couple of them I would have taken off. I do like this a lot. It has a lot of my favorite movies on here. If you have read my article on Substack about the 25 films of the year, Anatomy of the Fall, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things are on that list. So half of them are on that list for me. I haven't seen the other two. So the ones not on the list are Maestro, Killers, and The Holdovers. That being said, those are all technical marvels. They're all really impressive, really cool movies that I'm glad exist. And I would put them on this list. Now, my personal list includes things that have been excluded, like The Boy and the Heron, like Asteroid City. My favorite movie of the year is Asteroid City. I would have loved to have seen it pick up something in here. I don't know what that would be, but I would have liked to see Asteroid City somewhere on this list. But again, Wes Anderson is probably going to win for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. So I can't be mad at that. I do think Best Picture goes to Oppenheimer. It could go to Poor Things, but the way the Academy isn't as sexy, they gave an award to fucking Brendan Fraser in The Whale. They're not good at this. I don't know. I love the Academy. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff this year. I hope it's all good. And we'll talk about it. We'll do an awards show afterthought when that comes out. But just to discuss this for the moment, I like a lot of the lineup. There's a couple things I don't like. I think Robbie should be on the list. I would take off everything Naiad. I would change a couple of the musical nominations. And maybe see where else we could put Gerwig for her to win. But I also, Justine is no slouch. I think Tret in all of her categories could easily win them too, which is kind of impressive. I like this a lot. I am super into everything we did here, and I think it's going to be really fun to see how people react to it, how this award season's going to go. It could shit the bed, but I don't think it will. All right, it's an Oppenheimer sweep. They got 13 nominations. I could see them easily taking at least 10 awards, which is duh. I every time an award season comes up, you know who the front runner is, and that's not a problem. Knowing what we know currently for the upcoming season, like the 2024 slate of movies, I'll give an early prediction that I think we're going to see. Is it Ben Benadir? The guy, he was in Barbie. He was also in Secret Invasion. I think we're going to see him get a nomination for his role as Bob Marley. I think we're going to see if that new Angelina Jolie movie is released, where she's playing like that famous person. I can't remember who she's playing. I think we're going to see that get a nomination too. I Saw the TV Glow get a lot of love. That could win for screenplay. And Love Lies Bleeding, I do think, is going to secretly sneak in there some way. Maybe an Ed Harris nomination, maybe a Katie O'Brien nomination. I don't know. But I like this season. I like these a lot. Let me know what you guys think. And if you're interested in seeing more discussions like this, I have other ideas we could do. But until then, thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. So see you at the awards when we talk about the Oscars again, or when I do my own award show. Until then, have fun, stay safe, good luck.